What's happening, Blades? This is take two for me because the first one quality weren't there. I hope this is a little bit better. I'm going to get some decent gear, I promise, at some stage. But I just wanted to jump on tonight because I was raging when I got home from game, and even at first when I've recorded just now, it absolutely raging at what which is mad. We're top at league. Can't lose sight of the fact of how well we're doing. And I'm going to caveat this with saying that I think Hecky's doing a fantastic job. I think he's a hugely underrated manager. Everything that he's doing with difficulties, he's managed the sort of awkward situations around our club in terms of trying to squeeze the budget but maximise what we get out of the squad. You know, he's got rid of some big earners, Ollie Burke and players like that who were absolute wasters. Moose, bringing in cute loan signings that he's done, and obviously Anel, which we've talked about, but parking that praise for 1 minute, which is the overriding way I feel about Hecky. I think he's best man for that job. Don't think this isn't a witch hunt at all. He got it wrong today. He got it wrong with his game management. I don't mind the lineup, the starting lineup, sticking with usual formation, majority at square pegs in round holes, but Kadra at left wing back, awful. I get why he's done it. I get the attacking lineup, and I think it's a positive thing to want to go out and attack. We knew they were going to sit behind the ball and it was going to be difficult to break down, but he wasn't on it today at all, I didn't think. Nothing against the lad. I think he's a great addition to the squad. Really pleased that he's with us. He's an impact sub for me, and he's higher up pitch. He's not a wing back. It didn't work. I understood why we did it. That's not why I'm slating Hecky. The reason I'm not happy with Hecky today is the in-game management at 0-0. And it was 0-0 to be fair, and we've gone 1-0 up after he's made the sub. But Tommy Doyle was my man of the match, and taking Tommy Doyle off, who was all over the place, making lung-busting runs and running the show alongside Ollie Norwood, who I thought had another great game as well. George Baldock, fantastic. But taking Tommy Doyle off just so we can keep Sander on the pitch. I love Sander Berger. This is not anything against him, but he is everything we want in a 10 or a pushing towards right side like we've talked about. Not really a winger, but high up the pitch, Sander Berger with the ball at his feet is brilliant. In a number 6, without the ball, he's awful. Absolutely awful. And that's... It might seem a bit sort of harsh, that, but I've not known him have one good game for us in number 6. And we're doing all we can to keep him on pitch. And I get he's got the quality. But Doyle was the one. If you want to bring an attacker on the pitch, the sub he made was Bogle for Kadra, brilliant. And that proved to be the right decision because I thought Bogle did really well coming on. The one bright spark off the bench, I thought, if I'm honest. And then moving people round to accommodate Berger. So Berger's dropping back into Doyle's position, that Doyle's been running the show. And he drops Berger back so he can bring Brewster on. Well, bring Berger off. I'd rather have Berger off and Doyle still on in the position that he's running the show in than bringing Sander on just to keeping Sander on just to keep him there, because he is quality. We know he's quality, but not in a 6. He's never done it in a 6 for us, and I know Norway have been playing all about him. It's the same way bringing McAtee on when clock's running down. He's a good player, and you can tell he's got quality on the ball, but when we're trying to nick a winner, I'd rather have Ndiaye on field. I don't know if it's a clause in McAtee's contracts that we've got where we have to give him so many minutes or he has to play in so many games, but bringing Ndiaye, who we love, and sort of fashioned a couple of chances out of nothing early doors, but again, he had 2 headers that were one were harder than the other, but second one, he needs to get it on target. I thought Billy looked off the pace, which is understandable. I thought Brewster looked rusty, which ain't great to say he did it on an international stage. Obviously delighted with McBurney's goal. Created out of nothing and spun and smashed it. It deserved to be the only goal at game, really, because they're just... I mean, don't get me started on Birmingham. First video I went into a lot, and I've calmed down a little bit, which is better in terms of me overall, how I carry myself. But I was raging when I first came on because they were throwing themselves about. We expected them to put 10 men behind the ball, but if we're going to be top at league and sing about it and hope to be in and around, obviously, all season at that end and be top if we can, if not, obviously, second, we've got to be able to break teams down. They're going to come and sit. A point at Bramall Lane for any team in this league is a great result. We have got to be able to counter that. And if we can't break teams down and pick them, and we've done it, we've done hard bit. I don't know what happened with goal. It looked like we all stood still. I can only think, I hadn't seen it back, so I can only think it's been a ricochet off one of ours because he looked miles offside, did Deeney. But again, there were more than that, just that chance. I thought we went to sleep on a couple as well. Egan made a brilliant block first half. So the balance were just a little bit off for me today, which is disappointing. But for me, it were Hecky's subs in terms of bringing Doyle off. I thought he got it wrong. And I think as much as he is doing currently, and as I say, it's a minor point because when you look at the bigger picture, we're top at league and we're still top at league tonight. It's a point gained. So which is something I'll come on to really, trying to put a bit of a positive spin on it. Obviously, the season so far has gone fantastically well. We've just come off 3 away wins on spin, wins to 0. And so this is the emotion of throwing a game away, essentially, which I think is what we've done today. But if you look at it, obviously the top at league speaks for itself, but to gauge the progress that we've made since Slav, we've been comparing results for like in terms of, well, you'll see what I mean in a minute. So I'm going to go through all games this season and just results difference between, which shows you the progress that we're making, tangible progress. So obviously we don't count Watford, they weren't in league with us last year, but Millwall at home, we lost 2-1 last year, beat them 2-0 this time. So that's a +3 difference. You can see where I'm going with this guy here. Borough away last year, we lost 2-0, we drew 2-2 this year, +1. Sunderland obviously weren't in league with us. Blackburn at home, we beat 1-0. That last minute, Ben Davis, obviously Kadra missed penalty. Ben Davis, last minute winner. But it could have gone either way, that, to be fair. And we thrashed him this time, 3-0. So no points difference, but I think performance spoke for itself. Luton away, we're 0-0, 1-1 this time. Reading at home, we lost 2-1, as we know. A really disappointing result, that. Thrashed them 4-0 this year, and they're currently third, +3. Hull's always a great away day. Beat them 3-1, 1-2-0 this time. Swansea away, obviously, it was 0-0 last year. 1-0 this time, +2. Preston away, that awful Preston away game. 2-0 up, man sent off, and then 2-2. Unbelievable, but beat them 2-0 there this year, +2. And Birmingham at home, beat us 1-0 last year. Finished up 1-1 this time, +1. So it's a +1. Altogether, from the teams that we've played last season and this, we're at +12 points, better off. So while it's really disappointing in the moment and it's raw, and I'll still be, kicking cap tonight and what have you, we're in a really strong position and we can't lose focus on that. We do have to learn how to break teams down. I thought we showed good patience, but again, it was just a little bit off, and it's understandable with players that we've got out, and obviously Kadra at square pegging round all today, but there are things we can do. I'd like to see Bogle start their next game. I think he's done enough today in his cameo, and if he's fit enough, obviously, to start there Tuesday night, and I think that'll see us a little bit more solid, and just hope to go again against QPR, another tough game. I think they're up to 5th now. I need to check table to be sure, but yeah, so we take it on chin today. I'll try and keep saying that to myself while I'm mumbling and grunting under my breath about it. But it's a knockback, but it's a point. It may well be a good point come end of season. These are games we'll look back at, because let's be fair, they could have nicked it. You know, we were a little bit at sea at some stages, and they've gone close a couple of times. It could have gone either way. Too many players below par for me today. But we go again. Tuesday's another night. It's a quick turnaround, so it's a good chance for us to put this to bed early doors and hopefully come out with a positive result. But it's got to be a positive result this time. QPR and all the best for that to the Bladesmen, obviously. And I'm hoping to get a bit of a preview out, but if I don't get a chance, then we may well just do a bit of a reaction as I'm doing tonight, if all being well. So try not to get too down about the result today, and up the Blades.